Oh wow, it's starting to get a little dark and I am all for that. Let's talk about it. People, welcome back to Black Geek Cool. We're here with episode 3 in color for Wandavision. I forgot what I was about to say. Whatever. Yeah, this is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it, come back and listen. Also, if you can, go hit 5 stars on the podcast app you're listening to this on, or if you're listening to you on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button and share it. Tell everybody you know. It's a great way to support us here. If you would also like to financially support us, you can go ahead and hit our Cash App, $ Black Geek Cool, or check out our Patreon, Black Geek Cool Patreon, or get a t-shirt from our merch, Teespring / Black Geek Cool. Definitely get a t-shirt. Let me know you got one. Post it up online. All that good stuff to tell the world about it. But yeah, we're about to get into episode 3 in color. Or is it now in color? I forgot the name of the title. But yeah, first off, the opening. Every episode they give us a different opening from a different sitcom. This one is like a mixture of, feel like the Brady Bunch. Pretty much a Brady Bunch. I felt a little bit of Partridge Family in it to me. But yeah, Brady Bunch, and you show like her and Vision buying baby stuff. You see Vision doing hamburgers, which he goes really fast. I didn't know he had super speed. Is that something I missed throughout the MCU? I didn't think he had super speed. I thought he can phase do stuff, but I didn't know he can go super fast. So either I just missed it, or that's a new power. Is that a sign of something? Somebody let me know if you know. But then they also showed him putting together a swing set and it falls apart. They show some of the neighbors, like they're getting along with neighbors now and stuff. So they're come into the community all together. So that's kind of interesting. They did that all in the trailer. This episode kind of is really confined into one area. When you really think about it, they really don't leave the house that much in this episode, which is crazy. Very much crazy, especially the things that happen. But we start off the episode with Wanda talking to a doctor at her house. He made a house visit, which is kind of weird. I don't think they did that back in that time, made house visits. But you find out that Wanda's 4 months pregnant. Mind you, she just got pregnant. I believe Vision said 12 hours ago, so now she's 4 months pregnant. So this is a rapidly, I can't think of the word, expressing pregnancy. It's happening rapidly. And Vision's kind of asking the doctor like that in a joking way. He's like, should we be worried if the baby's like this size at this many age? And they compared it to fruit. I've seen this because I did this with my wife when we got pregnant. She showed me what fruit size the baby would be at certain weeks and stuff. And he was like, what about at 12 hours? How big would the baby be? And they got some... I like the jokes. Some people might not like the jokes. Had little fruit jokes. And she was like, oh, you guys are just bowls of fruit or something like that. It was funny. It made me chuckle. But the doctor's just like, yeah, all new dads are worried. You're okay. But you see Vision is very worried, like, this isn't normal. Why is this happening so fast? It is happening fast, and we know that they're in some kind of controlled world. Vision seems to be starting to put that together a little bit in this episode, which is really cool, really neat to see. We still don't know what's up with him. Because if you know, he died in Infinity War. Spoilers if you haven't seen Infinity War. There's no reason you'll be watching this if you haven't seen Infinity War. But he's trying to figure it out. But then the doctor leaves. Vision walks him out. And the doctor's like, yep, about to go on vacation. What did he say? Cancun? No, he said Barcelona? Bermuda. He said Bermuda. I can't say that word because I said it 6 times. He says Bermuda, and Vision's like, cool. Can you keep this quiet? Because it's new information. We're trying to keep it within the family. And he was like, mum's the word. and Vision says hi to his neighbor. I want to say his name is Hank. No, Herb. Maybe it's Herb. I could be wrong. I should have wrote it down. I didn't write it down. I didn't. All fairness, I didn't take notes on this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Got kind of busy, so I'm just doing everything off the top of my head. Watched the episode last night, so everything I can remember off the top of my head. I didn't take notes. I usually have a little couple notes, but I did. A little peek behind the curtain for you guys. But he's like, yeah, hey. And then he said hi to Herb. He walked away. Or no, he said hi to Herb when they first came out. Him and the doctor first came outside. After he was done talking to the doctor, he was saying something to Herb. No, he noticed that Herb was cutting through the wall, the cement wall he was cutting bushes. And he was like, Herb, you cut a little deep there. And he was like, well, so I have, Vision. And he kept cutting. And Vision clearly found out that was weird. We thought that was weird. He went back in the house to tell Wanda. And Wanda's clearly gotten bigger. She's gotten bigger throughout her pregnancy. And it is freaking Vision out. He's like, oh my God, what's going on? Why are you this big? And then they start doing little stuff like he's trying to calculate how fast the pregnancy's moving. And I felt like this all happened in a day. He's calculating how fast the pregnancy is. They showed the nursery where they set up the baby stuff, and he put together the crib, and she's helping. Or did she do the crib? I think she did the crib with her powers, yeah. And then she's putting up the little baby decoration things, and they're butterflies, and the butterflies come to life. There was something at first I thought it was Wanda that did it, but then I remember that one of her kids does have that kind of ability, so it could have been her kid doing that. Somebody pointed that out to me earlier today when I was talking to him about it. So I was like, yeah, it could have been her kid, because she does have twin boys, if you don't know. But then the butterflies fly, and she's like, oh, I can't control it. It's the pregnancy, blah, blah, this. So they give you a reason to think that it was her, too, which is smart, very smart. If you don't know that her kids adopt some of her powers and her brother's powers, you wouldn't understand that. So that makes perfect sense. And throughout the episodes, there's more magical mishaps like this that we are told that is Wanda not being able to control her powers because of the pregnancy. So there's one where she did something to Vision, hit him and phased him through something or put him outside. She made it rain, and then she made it dry off, which is really neat the way so something happened where her water broke, but then the water in the house broke. It flooded the house. Everything was wet, and they were under the table. It was silly funny. But then she made this gust of wind go through the house and dry her off. So she was in labor. So Vision ended up going to get the doctor. So he speeds off, which once again, I don't know if he can do fast running. I never remember him doing that in the MCU in any of the movies, but I could be wrong. I could have forgot it. But while he's gone, Monica Rambeau, I forgot her character name on the show, on the what's her name? I just know her, Monica Rambeau. Monica Rambeau comes over, and she's trying to borrow something from some office supplies, because her job at the job she has, they need office supplies, blah blah this. She told her this story about what's going on, but while Monica's telling the story about her job, Wanda's doing stuff magically, or at least we're supposed to think that it's her doing this stuff magically, and trying to hide the fact that she's pregnant. So there's this weird thing with this stork. They had this stork that was there, that was in the room, that came to life, and Wanda tried to zap it away, and it didn't zap away. And she kept making her own coat disappear and change. And Monica was like, ooh, nice coat. That's a really cool coat, blah, blah, this. And then the stork is trying to peck at Monica. It's really 70s sitcom funny. So if you've watched 70s and 80s sitcoms, you understand the funniness they're going for, and it does work. It's just like it would be in that. But most people don't like the sitcom aspect of the show, and I can totally understand that. But for those who do, it's a little extra stuff for us. But then eventually, I think she drops something and it shows that she's pregnant, and she goes into labor, and she's having the baby, and Monica's helping her with the baby, and she has the first baby, and Monica holds the baby, and is it that when happens when that was the twin, the baby? I think. No, the doctor comes back and they check on the baby and find out that no. Hold on, I gotta think about it. Okay, that's right. So, Monica helps her with the first baby. Vision comes back with the doctor, and they're checking over the first baby. And there's a moment where doctor's like, "Yeah, this is a healthy baby boy." Monica and the doctor go into the kitchen. Vision's with Wanda, and he's holding the baby, and she goes, "Don't you want to meet your son as yourself?" Which is a beautiful moment. So he, goes to Vision, and he's meeting his son for the first time, and it's beautiful. And then she starts pushing and has another baby, pushes another baby out. So there's the twins. And, the doctor comes back in, checks on the babies. Baby's all good. So Vision ends up taking the doctor back home. The doctor was like, "Hey, could we just walk, not travel fast?" And there was a thing, though, where the doctor was trying to leave, and he decided not to leave. It's very like, you can't leave this place. And he was like, "Oh, we decided not to leave because we're too needed here," or something like that. Some reason for them not to go on their vacation. Crazy. Also, the commercial in this episode was Hydra soap. So a lady that needs peace to get floated away. I don't know if that's a key thing. It says use Hydra soap. So I don't know if that's something there. I still think my theory. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. So that was the commercial. So while Vision is taking the doctor back, Wanda and Monica are talking, and Wanda is singing, I forgot the country she's from. She's singing a song from her country, and Monica's like, "Oh, that's beautiful." Somehow they talk about, Wanda says that she is a twin, and then Monica says, "Oh, Pietro," and Wanda's like, "How do you know that name?" And she's like, "Oh, I didn't say anything. I didn't say nothing," trying to play it off. And she was like, "No, you said Pietro. How do you know Pietro?" She was like, "Oh, I only know him because of Ultron." And boom, we dropped an Ultron bomb in there. And she was like, who are you? How do you know Ultron? Wanda is going, like, she turned dark real quick. No hesitation. She was like, "Who are you? Why are you here?" And Monica's like, "Oh, don't worry what I said." She's trying to play it off. It's like, "No, this is not." And Wanda's like, "Nah, it's time for you to go. You put my baby down. It's time for you to go." And then while they're having that discussion, and then it snaps to, there's a jump cut, I believe, and then it snaps to Vision coming back home, but he sees Herb, I think that's his name, and the lady that hangs out with Wanda a lot, I forget her name. She might be evil villain. I don't know her name. And they're talking to him, and they're like, "Hey, Vision, isn't it weird that Monica," what they say her character name, I don't know her character name. She's like, "Isn't it weird that she's here and she has no house?" And you can see they're trying to tell him something, but they really can't tell him something. They keep stopping themselves. So this brings a whole nother level to this mystery, because I thought it was Hydra holding Wanda and Vision captive. But now, if they can't just come out and tell Vision, maybe it's not them holding them captive, or maybe they're being held captive too. I don't know what's going on now. Very confusing. This totally threw the whole idea of this mystery on my head. But Vision's like, yeah, I think it's weird that she doesn't have a house or she doesn't have a home. Everybody else has a home. It's weird. But then the one lady stops her from saying anything. And he's like, well, Vision, I gotta go. And Vision ends up going back into the house. And then he goes in the house, he sees the kids, and he asks, where's Monica? And he was like, oh, honey, she had to go home. Then you see Monica Rambeau get pushed out of kind of, I don't even know what to call it. It's a shield. If you've seen the trailer, it's a shield that she kind of tried to touch. You see her get pushed out of it. It's also the on the trailer where she getting pushed out of something. That's actually her getting thrown out of the shield, you can see, and she hits the ground, and then all these SWAT teams surround her. And that's the end of the episode. Oh, there was one thing. Like, so when Wanda told Vision that Monica had to go, you can see the aspect ratio change. I don't know what that means. I just noticed it, and I heard somebody else talk about it, so I thought it was important. Let me know if it's important, because you guys are a little smarter than me on these things, so let me know. But yeah, that is the episode. Really good episode. Really pushing that mystery a little more. Can't wait to see episode 4. I'm probably going to watch it tonight. So I'm going to probably put the review of episode 4. And then 5 is coming out Friday, which is tomorrow. So we'll talk about that then. But thank you guys for listening. As always, appreciate it. As always, hit that like or hit that 5 stars, whichever platform you're listening to this on. Share it to everybody. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.